Hello guys, welcome to ColdCoastGaming. My name is Hoot, and you're watching Hoot Plays Darkest Dungeon. So this is a game that I've played an absolute ton of. I must have spent hundreds, well maybe not hundreds, but definitely 100 hours or so playing this game. And it took me quite a while to beat it the first time. I have beaten the game, but it took me a long time. But this was way before they introduced a new Radiant mode, which basically, from what I can gather, it means it's kind of a shorter version of the game. It's still as difficult, but it's kind of rebalanced so that it takes you less time to get to the end. So that's what we're going to be doing. If you've never seen the game before, I'll talk a little bit about what it's all about once we get into it. So we'll go ahead and start up a new Radiant campaign. So as it says here, it's still challenging, but it's adjusted to be faster and more forgiving. The reason I'm doing Radiant mode is because it's quick, and I want to finish the game again before the expansion comes out, the Crimson Court, because when that comes out, I'll probably do a full hardcore playthrough. It's a really fun game, but it can be so brutal, this game. Anyway, I'll be quiet for the intro, so you guys can watch that because it is cool.
You will arrive along the old road. It winds with a troubling serpent-like suggestion through the corrupted countryside, leading only, I fear, to ever more tenebrous places. There is a sickness in the ancient pitted cobbles of the old road, and on its writhing path you will face viciousness, violence, and perhaps other damnably transcendent terrors. So steel yourself, and remember there can be no bravery without madness. The old road will take you to hell, but in that gaping abyss, we will find our redemption.
Okay, the voice guy, Wayne June, he is an absolute boss. He just epitomizes everything that is Lovecraftian and creepy. And I mean, listening to his commentary throughout the game, it's one of the high points of the game. And it's almost worth recommending you buy the game purely for the Wayne June voiceovers. I mean, this guy is a legend. Okay. So let's get it. So basically, the way the game takes place is, this is just the intro, but before we get to the hamlet, which is your sort of home base, you got to go through this little tutorial area. So the game basically unfolds as you control heroes, up to 4 when you get into the game, and they all have different stats and skills, and as you go along, the combat is turn-based, but basically it's just about exploring a little map, and you work your way through the arenas, and there's different goals for different quests and whatnot, but it's easier if I just explain it as we go along. So this is just the start. So we've got 2 guys. We've got Reynold, who's a crusader, and Dismas, who's a highwayman. So we'll just continue on. Actually, we've got to select on here where we need to go.
Have run up these lanes. Keep to the side path. The hamlet is just ahead.
Okay, I'm going to try and be quiet when Wayne June speaks because he is worthy of the respect.
This thug in brutal fashion, that all may hear of your arrival.
Dispatch this thug in brutal fashion. Next time I'm in a fight, or I'm about to be in a fight, I might actually say that before I crack on. Okay, so what we're going to do is, we got 4 skills for the Crusader. Generally I moved him up to the front because he's a little bit more tanky. I don't usually play with the Highwayman up front. So he's got Smite, which is basically just a normal attack. Zealous Accusation, which attacks the front 2 rows. And that one which attacks the front 2 rows as well, which is a stun, and that's like a shield. But basically, positioning of your crew is very important in the game. I mean, not so much for this fight, because we're just going to smash this clown and just kill him outright, because it's the tutorial. And it's Radiant mode as well, which means it should be a little bit easier than normal. But as the game gets on, and as it gets a little bit more difficult, you're going to want to make sure that your positioning's right, and you've got people in your crew that can attack the back line, it can attack the third line, can attack all the relevant lines. Because otherwise you're going to left, you know, if you get out of position, it's the thing where most wipes occur is when your stuff, when your crew gets completely repositioned. Okay. So this should take us
Leave
to the
nothing
hamlet.
unchecked. There is
Oh, no, I
much
don't.
to be found in forgotten places.
There's another boss fight first. I know I said I was going to not interrupt Wayne June, but
Send these vermin a message.
this game will be a fucking...
Owner has returned, and
Shut up!
mankind is
Shut
no
up, Wayne
longer
June!
welcome.
Shut up! It will be a silent Let's Play if I didn't interrupt him. At least for this intro bit. I will try and be more, you know, let him speak a little bit later on. But man, he just talks so much. And it is a high point, like I say. But that's if you're not trying to commentate over your playing. Sorry, Wayne. My bad. Okay. I've not failed on the opening before. So hopefully these guys won't just get mighty crits and kill me outright. I don't think they will. I think we pretty much got this. Oh, by the way, this is my first ever Let's Play, so if it's a bit shaky or there's periods of deathly silence or it seems like I'm rambling, that's just because I'm still brand new at this.
Prodigious size alone does not dissuade the
Okay.
sharpened blade.
So, when you kill somebody, they leave a corpse. Basically, you got to destroy that corpse in order to get the people behind that corpse. Unless you've got a skill that can directly attack a different position in the enemy lineup. That's basically all that's saying. But if you're really interested in reading it, you can pause the video and just watch it yourself. Because I just want to kill this clown and get to the hamlet so we can get into the meat of the game. Ugh. Okay. It's going to make me kill the corpse then, basically. Okay. Thankfully, corpses have a lot less hit points than normal. See, if this guy's at the front, so he's at the front pip, so basically I can only hit with pistol shot back 3 lines, but I have to be in my own back 3 lines in order to do it. So if I swap him over, I'll take a little bit of damage, sure. But now, on my next shot, I'll be able to... Oh, no, I won't, because I've killed the corpse. See? Positioning. Incredibly important. First mistake made. Oh, but hopefully it won't make a difference. Alright, man. So, after you've completed the quest, you can click return to town, or you can continue. Well, we're going to continue, just so I can open the chest. And there's nothing in it. What a jip. Completely ripped off. Okay. So that's the end of the little tutorial bit. So now we get into the actual hamlet proper, and we can see what what's up and start upgrading our town and doing quests. So when you finish a quest, every hero gets XP, and they sometimes develop traits. Some are good, some are bad, depending on. Actually, I don't know what it depends on. It does seem pretty random. I think it's just a chance on level up to develop a trait.
This squalid hamlet, these corrupted lands, they are yours now, and you are bound to them.
Okay, so this is basically this is how you start, with a complete wreck of a town, and not everything is active just yet. So basically, over the course of the game, this turns from a complete shithole into less of a shithole. The boards get taken off and the buildings get souped up, but it's still pretty... I still wouldn't want to live here, you know what I mean? I wouldn't want to go to sleep and have some kind of Lovecraftian horror crawling into me bed at night and doing nasty things. That's just... Okay, so let's click on these prompts and we'll see what they're up to.
In time, you will know the tragic extent of my failings.
Okay, so that's basically just the story of the game that you play out as you complete quests and whatnot. Shows you where your people die.
Covered in the poisoned earth, awaiting merciful oblivion.
I mean, listen to his voice, man. It's amazing.
Women and men, soldiers and outlaws, fools and corpses. All will find their way to us now that the road is clear.
Okay, so this is basically the stagecoach where you hire heroes. And you're going to want to hire... At the start of the game, you're probably going to want to hire every hero that you can. Just because if somebody dies, then at least you've got replacements that you can take into your next quest, basically. And as you go along in the game, you can upgrade all your buildings. And as you upgrade them, it obviously gives you better perks for that particular thing. So if you upgrade the stagecoach, for example, it's going to give us Instead of being able to increase, you know, our hero roster by 2, every time we come back to town, it'll give us a choice of 3 heroes to pick from. So we'll do that. And if we upgrade this one, instead of being able to hold only 9 heroes at the top here, if we click that one, now we can hold up to 12.
Ambition is stirring in distant cities.
And as I say,
We can use this.
for your very first playthrough, people will probably die quite a bit. So if, you know, having more heroes is a lot better. And to be honest, there's not much more you can do at the start of the game. It kind of just prompts you to do this stuff. But overall, I would say that if you're going to upgrade something, then you're going to want to upgrade the stagecoach first before pretty much anything else. Okay, so all these other buildings, as you can see, they're pretty much locked. So all we can do for now is go ahead and embark on our first quest.
Mecca of madness and morbidity.
Okay,
Your
so
work begins.
quiet, Wayne June. I got to explain what we're doing. Alright, okay. So as you go on, this will fill out a bit, and we'll be able to do more quests, but there's only one available for now. So we drag our people, and this forms the 4 people that you've got to send into the dungeon to accomplish it. Over here it tells you what your goal is. So all we've got to do is explore 90% of the rooms in the dungeon, and then we are complete. Now normally what you would do is you'd equip some trinkets and things, but we haven't quite got to that stage yet, so there's not much more we can do except go ahead and get ready.
The cost of preparedness, measured now in gold, later in blood.
So what we've got to do is buy necessary supplies. So for every dungeon run that you do, you're going to want to take along definitely a shovel. For a short one, probably need 1 shovel, because if the reasons for that will become apparent a little bit later on. We're going to take 8 torches, and we're going to take 8 food. And that should be enough to see us through. Actually, we'll take a bandage as well, just in case. So that should be enough to see us through this first one, he says. But if me luck's not in, then I really hope I don't lose a guy on the very first... not only the very first Let's Play that I've done, but the very first Radiant mode. I mean, it's supposed to be the fucking easy mode in the game. Well, not easy, but shorter. Okay. Let's see what we've got. Wayne June will interrupt us at random intervals and tell us. Every time we burn a torch, he's going to say something epic.
The way is lit. The path is clear. We require only the strength to follow it.
Told ya. Okay. Not every room has a battle in it. This one clearly does, but not every room does. Okay, so thankfully we've got a surprise on these guys. Basically means every time you enter a room, based on the level of light you have, there's a chance that you will surprise the enemies or they will surprise you, which basically means you get a free turn before they get a chance to act. Now we haven't had a chance to change any skills around for this, so what we'll do is we'll use our vapors on him. Now, skeletons, you notice several skills, they apply different effects. So this skill, for example, gives them a bleed, which is kind of like it's a damage over time, basically, and it ticks down. But skeletons, I mean, use your brain, you know, logically, skeletons don't bleed very much, so using it on those guys will be pointless. So instead, we're going to use Grape Shot Blast, which you can tell by looking at the little pip icon, that it hits the first 3 rows, or the first 3 positions, should I say. Alright, we'll try and stun this front guy. And again, Zealous Accusation. This is going to hit the first 2 rows. That should clean this up nicely.
Falls, a faint hope blossoms.
There we go, and we get the fat loot. That's not too bad. Okay. I'll go through the skills a little bit more when we start building our party up after we've got... right. I'm going to interrupt myself there because this is why you always bring along a shovel. Because if we had to clear this shit by hand, it would take quite a bit of hit points off us. It would give us a little bit of stress, and the torchlight would go down considerably because of the time it would take. But if we use a shovel to clear it, absolutely no penalty. Just shovel's gone, but we can easily get that removed. Right, okay. So battles, you can't actually see unless you get a scouting chance, which basically every time you get a room, there's a chance to fill out a little bit of the map. So normally, though, you can't see what you're going to run into. So, from previous experience, I know that we need to take this person out, this cultist acolyte, crazy woman, at the back first. And the reason for that is that she'll cast a spell. Here we go. Stressful incantation. If it hits, which it has, you'll notice this guy's stress bar going up. So just take a second here to explain a little bit about the stress system. So you don't just have health, you know, for getting hit by attacks and whatnot. You've got stress as well. And if your stress hits the top level, so it's basically 2 levels to it. If it hits 100, you have a chance to basically go insane. So one of your heroes just fucking loses their shit. Now there's a chance that they'll lose their shit and become an almighty hero and double their resolve and march on, but there's also a chance that they'll just flip their fucking wig, and when they do, they start doing crazy shit like passing their turns remotely and making all your other guys get more stress, and sometimes attacking your own guys, sometimes just randomly attacking the enemy or refusing to be healed. It's just a pain in the arse. So you have to be extremely careful of gathering too much stress. And there's not much we can do about it if we get attacked right now, you know, on our stress bar. We've just got to push through it. But later on you get systems in place and trinkets and abilities on certain heroes that actually reduce stress. So it's always a good idea to bear that in mind as you play on. Oh good, we got a dodge. That's good. Dodging is the best thing in this game, basically, up until you get to like the Darkest Dungeon, which is like the final push, really. Dodging's just, I found it when I played through the game to be by far one of the most effective ways to get through the game and basically avoid a lot of damage for free. If you can stack dodge, it's just brilliant. Alright, we're going to try and get rid of these 2 corpses so that we can attack this cow. I'm not a misogynist, by the way. You know, what kind of bloke would I be if I was? But the women in this game, aside from your women, which are cool, badass chicks, these women, enemy women are, yeah, they've either got scales, or they're crazy, or they're cultists. So I think calling her a cow was pretty much justified. There we go. Alright, so we don't actually have to go through all the rooms, we only have to explore 90%. If you're a proper maths head, it's not exactly 90%, obviously. It's just, in a dungeon like this, it means we've got to explore every room but one, I think. Oh, yeah, there's a warning about the torch. So, as you walk along, your torchlight is going to decrease for every little square that you cover. Your torchlight drops down a bit. Now, there's benefits to doing a dungeon run in absolute darkness. You get better loot, and your people get increased critical chance on their skills. But the monsters do a shitload more damage. You get surprised more often, which means all your people will be out of position when you start the fight, and you take a lot more stress. So we're going to burn a couple of torches there. You can just burn them by clicking that to keep our light high, just while we build up our heroes a little bit, because we don't want to get totally cleansed and totally wiped out on our first couple of dungeon runs, because that would suck for the Let's Play. Because it would mean that I had to start again. Or just struggle through some really harsh shit to get to a point where we're actually doing something. Alright, so a good starting option here. Highwayman first. And who goes first predicated on what your speed factor is. So every hero and every enemy has a different speed, which tells you, you know, the move order basically. And you get familiar with that as the game goes on. So we're going to Grape Shot Blast because it hits the first 3 rows. And then we're going to Plague Grenade because... oh no, we're not. Or actually, she's got speed 7, so she'll act first. And that's the stress witch that we want to avoid. So we're going to try and stun her with Disorient and Blast. Just so that she doesn't... and she resisted. Fantastic. So she'll be able to apply a lot of stress, maybe. Unless I can stun her again. I'm going to try again. Nope. Okay. Yeah, so he can't take much more stress damage without getting, without flipping his wig and going a bit crazy. Okay. Right. Okay. Alright, we're just gonna embolden this guy so that he can take a turn quicker, because that puts his speed up. We're gonna have to bandage our highwayman because he's gonna bleed out otherwise. Okay. So we gotta, yep, your hero's bleeding, you can use a bandage. That's exactly what I just said. So we're gonna bandage that guy. We're gonna do grape shot blast again because there's still 3 enemies. It's gonna cause him to bleed again, isn't it? Oh, no, no it isn't. But we've got to heal. Now this is an important thing that in every, I mean, some people do it without any healers, but by and large, in every group that you run, you're gonna want one class of hero that can effectively restore hit points, because it's, if you don't, it's just incredibly difficult to make it through without being able to replenish that. For reasons that will become abundantly clear the more that we get into this Let's Play. You'll see exactly what I'm talking about.
As victories mount,
Alright, so we've got a key, so we can use this key, and that lets us basically get more rewards out of this chest than we normally would. Okay, I think we're going to be alright to make it through this. We'll burn another torch just to keep the light up. There hasn't been a hunger check yet, so basically the reason we bring food along, that was unfortunate as well. The reason that we bring food along is because every so often you're going to hit a hunger check where your party has to eat, so your hero team have to eat, otherwise they basically starve to death. I mean, they must be real. I mean, I don't know, to say that they've just set off, they can only be down here like 20 minutes, you know what I mean? They can't be starving already. But it's just one of the game mechanics you have to learn. So you'll notice there that when we hit that room, we got a scout, which basically revealed to us what's on these paths. So, yep, disarming traps. I'm coming to that game. Hold your tongue, man. Right, so as you go along, you get a chance to disarm traps. Certain characters are better than others at it. So as you can see, we got different chances. So we're going to use the highwayman, and that'll actually reduce his stress a little bit, which is always handy. So sometimes you can stave off madness by using a character to disarm traps that you normally wouldn't, even though you do it as a gamble because you might take a ton of damage. We got the surprise. Good. Okay, we'll open with grape shot blast again. We'll open with zealous accusation on this guy. It attacks the first 2 rows. Oh, it's brutal. That's fucking brutal. Okay. Well, we're going to try and stun this guy because he can do a range shot that does a ton of damage, and it usually targets toward the back 2 lines, so ideally we don't want that to happen. They seem really focused on this guy. Okay. Come on, Dismas. Let's crit these babies. Nope. That's unfortunate. You can blight skeletons, which is basically another damage over time. Oh, and that's a strong blight as well, so he's dead on his next turn, basically. That's going to tick down 4 damage a round for 3 rounds, so when he acts next, he's basically dead. So even though you can't bleed them, you can blight them. And we got, yes, we got the big crit. That's it. So this round is won. Happy days. Now, I can't remember what all of the curios do because it's been a little while since I've actually played the game through. But I think this one reduces stress or gives a combat buff. So we're going to try it anyway. I don't think you need to use holy water to get the buff. I'm going to try it though. Oh, divine benefit. There we go. Yep, I was right. So these are called curios, and some curios that you come across, you see, they do better things if you actually have an item that you can activate on it. So for that one, putting the holy water on a holy altar or a divine altar reduces your stress by a ton and gives you some form of divine benefit. And it may have, no, it didn't give me a perk, it just healed me up, which is fair enough. Alright,
the promise of safety.
So we're actually going to complete the quest on this room, but we're going to go and that's a ton of food that we don't need. You can also eat food to regain health, so we're actually going to do that because there's no way, absolutely no way we're going to need 12 food by the next, you know, over this little stretch of dungeon. Okay, so we're not going to stop at this room. Oh, there you go. There's the hunger check. So eat 5 food. Yes, 4 food even.
The match is
Okay,
struck.
so exploring this
A
room will
blazing
complete the quest.
star is born.
But we're going to continue because there is a treasure in this room. And I want to see what that is. And curiosity has killed me in this game a lot more times than making stupid mistakes or fucking up with abilities or just bad luck. It's been a case of, oh, what's that? I want to see what that is. And then I've got there, and it's fucking killed me. And I've lost some really, really, really high-level heroes before, and it's just brutal. But that's part of the fun of the game. That's why you play it, because when they're gone, they're gone. They're just as morbid as it is, just like in real life. In here, when you guys die, they're toast, man. That's it. Okay, so we're actually going to play Grenade. Now, I know I could try and stun this guy, because he does an awful, horrible little stress buff as well, but if we put this buff on them, even if we don't get the damage, it means that they're going to tick down. Yeah, like he's dead next turn, for example, so he's only going to get 1 turn to act now, and then he's toast. Okay, we're going to use the Zealous Accusation to smite these guys. Oh, yes. Sick dodge. We're going to have to heal him up. We're going to do Plague Grenade again, because these debuffs, okay, they do stack. So it was 4, but now it's 8. So that guy's, he is toast. So if I can do, he's got 13 hit points left. If I can do 5 hit points worth of damage to him, which I may be able to do with pistol shot. Yep. So you can tell in this little area here that the damage is going to be 4 to 8. So I need to get 5. And we only get 4. So he's gonna get another turn to act. Oh. Actually, no, he's not. I'm just gonna. Oh, wow. So that could have done, you know, maybe he's like 1 to 3 damage, but it was all we needed. All right. Now, the Zealous Accusation should clean both of these guys up. Yeah. There we go. Alright, now we're going to take the treasure, and we've got 2 keys. Alright, so we're done, we've explored everywhere, now we can just end the quest. And that's going to give us our heroes a little bit more experience, and we might actually get a more, because this basic set of heroes, it's a decent composition, but it's by no means the most interesting composition that there exists in the game. Okay. Everybody leveled up, so when you level up, there's a chance that you'll gain bad skills, you know, so sort of detrimental skills, as well as a chance that you'll gain good skills. So he's developed blight resistance, he's developed quicker speed if our torch is really low, but he's also a gambler now, so I'll deal with what those mean probably in the next video. I think this is a good point to put a cut in. So that's the first quest done.
I was lord of this place.
Shush up, Wayne June.
Before the crows and rats made it their domain.
Okay, so that's the first video done. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. If you've enjoyed it, great. Please stay and watch the next one if you've got time, or come back later and watch it. And if you like what you see, hit the subscribe button. And as I update videos and stuff, it'll, you know, you'll be notified, and you can come in and watch me play this stuff. So thanks again, and see you in the next video.